Our top story as we come in the air with our live broadcast at 10 o'clock, a growing issue many communities are facing right now, with some fighting it for years: sex trafficking. And law enforcement says it's getting worse. NBC Montana's Kylie Gibson with how one local officer defines the crime and what he looks for in the field.
Sex trafficking, an alarming crime that is rising here in our communities. But how does law enforcement define sex trafficking?
Compelling another through force, fraud, or coercion to engage in commercial sex, and that person who is compelling them is benefiting from it.
Detective Baker tells me what's really troubling in Missoula.
There's lots of people out there that are trying to exploit women, but younger and younger seems to be more common now than it used to be.
Human trafficking is the second leading criminal enterprise on earth, behind drugs and ahead of weapons. Detective Baker says the reason for this is because there's a low risk and a high yield is what motivates people to get involved in sex trafficking.
Humans are a reusable commodity, so if I have an ounce of meth and I sell it for $600, I have my 6 Benjamins, but if I have a female, I can sell her over and over again.
Detective Baker says that victims of sex trafficking usually meet with, quote, customers up to 3 times a day. Now, the percentage of sex trafficking victims range between 80% to 85% female. Watch this. During my interview with Detective Baker, he showed me just how easy it is for someone to open their phone and find sex online. Detective Baker says that runaways are a particular risk because they don't have a plan for life on the streets.
Runaways make up a large portion of American minors who are subjected to child pornography and sex trafficking.
Now, there's a difference between a sex trafficking victim and a prostitute.
The basic difference is choice. So a prostitute is someone who's engaging in commercial sex on their own volition for their own benefit, where a trafficking victim is someone who's compelled through force, fraud, or coercion to engage in commercial sex and somebody else benefits from it.
Here's the process of what happens during a sex trafficking investigation. They identify a victim, often through patrol contacts, so traffic stops. There are indicators that patrol officers have been trained to look for, so the majority comes from law enforcement contacts on the street, and then the investigation is followed up by Detective Baker himself. Now, once he gets the case, he identifies the victim, collects evidence, interviews the victim, any witnesses, with the end goal being able to identify and arrest a suspect. If you see a female in a situation that doesn't look right or might be sex trafficking, call 911 and report it. Reporting in studio, Kylie Gibson, NBC Montana.